ladies, and welcome to another episode of Success Starts Within. So today I want to talk about something that we don't really talk about that often, and that is joy, and how we can bring a lot more joy into our lives and our businesses in 2026. So we're going to talk about exactly what joy is and why we don't make time for it. We are very good at being in that hustle, work, stress, urgency kind of mode. And that is again because we are wired that way. But we really need to create moments of joy in our lives because that is what is going to keep us going. Because ultimately we are working so that we can have fun in our lives. So if you're anything like the women that I work with, or honestly, like me sometimes, it can be so easy to slip into hustle mode without even realizing it. You know, we don't wake up every morning and go, I'm going to enjoy every part of my life today. We go through these moments of excitement, but then very quickly we slip back into the stress and the focus and the urgency and all of the things that we need to do to get by in our life. We'll start focusing on the money. We start thinking about the goals that we've got to set for ourselves that we have to achieve. We think about our next level. We focus on what needs fixing in our business, what hasn't worked. And the problem with doing that is that joy just gets put on the back burner. And that's not intentionally, but it's something that just happens. We say things to ourselves like, right, once I finish this launch, then I'm going to take a break. Or once I'm financially secure, then I'm going to book that holiday. Or after I've hit that goal, I'm going to take my foot off of the gas. But that then means that our life becomes a series of checkpoints that you're running towards, rather than actually stopping and breathing consistently throughout life. And what we don't talk about enough is the emotional experience of living in that way. Because when we focus constantly on achieving, earning, proving, becoming, the emotions that dominate your day-to-day are not neutral. And they are things like pressure, urgency, frustration. We get disappointed when things don't move fast enough. And it all comes down to those uncomfortable feelings that we don't like to feel. And we need to anchor in moments of joy in order to get us through those harder times. So here's the thing, okay? Your subconscious mind is not listening to your affirmations or your plans in life. It's watching your patterns, the things that you have been doing all through your life, the ways that you have been thinking, and it is noticing how hard you're working, how often you feel under pressure, how rarely you actually feel rewarded, and whether the effort that you put in leads to any kind of relief or whether you just put more effort in. So if your life is becoming a loop of striving without enjoyment, then what your subconscious is going to do is start to associate growth with stress. And this is where things can get quite tricky, because on a conscious level, you want success, but on a nervous system level, your success feels more like pressure, more responsibility, and more weight. And when something feels unsafe, even emotionally unsafe, then your system is going to consistently resist it. And that is where the procrastination shows up. That's where your motivation will dip. And it's where your self-sabotage will start to creep in, even when you really care, when you really want something. And this is because your body is protecting you. And this is where something called felt safety comes in. So felt safety is not a logical safety. It's not and I know I'm okay. It's my body feels okay. So it's that difference between the conscious and the nervous system. I suppose it's the difference between telling yourself, I'm fine, while your shoulders are tense and your jaw's really tight, versus saying to yourself, I'm fine, and actually feeling relaxed and open and present. And this felt safety is created when your nervous system experiences things like rest, pleasure, connection, likes predictability, and enjoyment without any guilt. And here's the key part. You cannot create felt safety by pushing harder. It doesn't work like that. In fact, it gets your whole system freaking out. It's only created by you showing the system that your life contains moments of rest, relaxation, relief, and pleasure alongside all of the effort that you are putting in. And this is why joy shouldn't just be something extra. It's actually imperative for nervous system regulation. And joy anchors give our nervous system something to look forward to. It gives us something to work for. And it sends the message that, okay, I'm going to work hard, but there is relief coming. I know that the effort that I'm putting in this first month of January is going to lead somewhere good. So it's not just you going through life, it's about you going through life with joy and excitement. And life without joy anchors, let's be honest, like it can feel really, really heavy. It can feel flat. It's like that long to-do list that you constantly drag yourself through, and it can feel exhausting. It stops your growth. And this is why having these joy anchors are really, really important, because it makes your growth feel held. So joy anchors, there's something that I only really thought about over the last sort of week or so. I went to an event on Friday and it was amazing. And the lady that was hosting it was talking about the importance of joy. Now, I've had some great holidays and experiences with my family last year, but I haven't really had many of them planned. And I've not thought to myself, I'm really going to stop and embrace the moments that I have booked into my diary. So they are very much intentional and planned occasions. So it's not you just saying, oh, like one day I'm going to go on a lovely date night with my husband. It's something that you put in the diary and you remind yourself that you are going to have that moment of joy further down the line. And you put them in the diary now, because we all know what happens. You say you're going to do something, and then it's March. You say you're going to do it, and then we end up in July. And before you know it, we're in December, we're reflecting on the past year, and the things that we said to ourselves at the beginning of the year, the moments that we wanted to create in our lives, just didn't happen. And that's a whole year that's passed. And if you've got children, that's another year of their life. And they are so small for a very short period of time. They change so quickly. So it's so important to pre-plan and commit to these anchors, these moments of excitement and joy that you are going to have in your life and your family's life beforehand. And it's something as well that your body can anticipate because you've planned it in. And it's something that your nervous system can think about. And that will start to soften your nervous system, because if you are launching something, say you're launching something in January, I'm launching my first event on the 1st of February, which I'll tell you a bit more about that later. But I have got something planned for the Friday after the event. I'm going to go out with my friend for lunch and we are going to go and get a pedicure, something that I have only ever had done about twice in my life. But I've got it planned in. So my nervous system knows, okay, you've got this big goal that you have set for yourself. And once you've achieved it, you're going to do something good, because you want to create something that's tough and associate it with something that is going to bring you joy. So for 2026, I really, really want you to think about 4 different joy anchors that you can book into your diary. So I'm going to talk about the 4 joy anchors that I want you to consider. And these are just examples, by the way. But when you are thinking about it, I want you to notice what happens in your body. Now, when you're in moments of stress and high vibration, in negative high vibration, your shoulders are going to be really high up. You're going to have a clenching maybe in your stomach, in your chest. It's that real tightness. Your legs might be feeling a little bit solid. That is the fight or flight mode coming in. But when you start thinking about these moments that you are going to book into your diary that are going to give you time to switch off, what's going on with your body? And I can imagine what will be happening is you're going to have this sense of, this sense of calm. And that is your body signaling to you the importance of having these planned for your 2026. So, a couple of examples are maybe having a proper break or a holiday. Now, I don't mean booking 2 weeks in Greece and it being like an extravagant, expensive holiday. This is just about creating some space, some time away from your routine, different scenery. It could be maybe getting in the car one morning and driving somewhere where there's beautiful hills and just going for a long walk with a friend or partner. It could be booking a night away. It could be booking your holiday, but it's just something that's different because the nervous system needs a bit of contrast. And we spend a lot of our time, and I know this is me saying this, by the way, I spend a lot of my time at my desk in my house, and it can get very monotonous. It can also actually trigger my nervous system. And one thing that I have found this year is there are times when I sit at my desk and immediately my body goes into fight or flight, because my desk, not only is it the place that I'm creating my business, it's also the place that gives me stress. It's the place that makes me think really hard. It's the place where I come up with challenges. So sometimes I will go to my local Costa and I'll go and work from there. And I cannot tell you the difference in how I feel. I cannot tell you the difference in my productivity as well, because I'm away from my desk. I'm away from this place that sometimes can bring me down. And I'm in a different area. I'm in a different environment. For me, being a Gemini, I love other people. So I absolutely thrive off of the buzz of the people in there buying their coffees, the older people meeting up for their like pre-walking coffee, the mums meeting up with their kids. I just absolutely love it. And I walk away from Costa feeling very, very energetic, and I love it. So it's just taking those breaks away from what we do every day and getting away into a new environment. Another thing that you could do is think about a solo trip. I love to be with other people. I just thrive off of being with another person. But a solo trip away could be something that would work for you. So a night on your own, going to a retreat, or just dedicating a day where you don't open the laptop and you do something for you, whatever that could look like. Whether that, like I said, go for a walk, whether that be going to get your nails done, whether that be finding a gorgeous space outside and using that to connect with the universe. Journal, meditate, lay in the grass, bring some snacks, anything that is focusing on you, and in those moments celebrating you as well. Something I'm actually going to try, because as I said, I'm not a natural solo person. I really love to be with people, but I'm very interested and intrigued to find out how I cope with a day on my own where I'm not working, I'm doing for me. Another one could be, as the opposite of what I just said, is connection. So booking some time with friends. Now, I have a gorgeous group of mum friends, but my God, trying to get us together is impossible. But every September, once the kids have gone back to school, we book a weekend away. And it is something that gets us through the summer holidays. And we talk about it from like May, where we're getting all excited about it and planning what we're going to do. But it's so lovely to have that to look forward to, knowing at the end of the summer holidays, with all of the juggling that we've had to do, we are going to be together drinking Prosecco by the seaside and having lay-ins and getting up, reading our books. Some of the girls go for a run and just doing things that we want to do. And it is so well deserved. And connection is a really good way to regulate us in a way that nothing else does. So it's really nice to spend time with people that you feel comfortable with, people that you love, and co-regulating with them as well. Now, I just briefly want to touch on the subject of money, because money doesn't just go towards the bills. And when we think of it in that way, we can become very dragged down by it. But money is important to create safety too. And money matters. Money is what we need to create the memories. It's what funds these experiences. It's what will bring enjoyment in our life. And it honestly, truthfully, makes our life feel very, very rich. Now, if we don't think of money as a way of having these fun goals in our lives, then life can feel like a slog. You get this work, pay, repeat, work, pay, repeat, work, pay, repeat. But the joy anchors are the ones that are really going to give us that meaning in life. And they remind us why we're building our businesses in the first place. So this version of you who succeeds in 2026, she's not the one that keeps pushing, okay? Don't keep pushing. She needs to have a supported enough nervous system to expand. So we need to reframe things. Joy has got to be the thing that allows us to sustain our business and our lives. And when our body learns that the effort that we put in leads to enjoyment, and the growth that we are going through includes pleasure, then you are going to have a system, a nervous system, and a subconscious that starts working with you and not against you. So before I finish up today's podcast, I just felt it was really important to talk about this, because we do get stuck in this hustle. We do get stuck in, I'm so busy and time's flying, but we need these anchor points in our year, in our lives, to be able to slow down and to absorb everything that we've achieved. You know, we're not very good at appreciating the accomplishments that we have made. It's like, keep going, keep going. But actually, these moments of joy, they're not only a reward, but they're also time for us to stop and really, really reflect on how far we have come. They're like little checkpoints, as I said. So I want you to ask yourself these few questions. Where has joy been missing in your life? And where have you been postponing it? So have you got a plan, or have you had an idea or a plan that you have had for ages and you just haven't got it in the diary yet? I want you to get it in the diary, and I want you to commit to blocking that time out. And it doesn't matter what happens, unless we get a hurricane, unless something crazy happens in our life, I want you to commit to keeping that in your diary. And lastly, I want you to ask yourself, what would change if joy was part of your plan in 2026? So joy anchors were just as important as the goals that you're going to set yourself. And I invite you to think of 4 situations, 4 events, 4 joy anchors that you are going to plan in for 2026. I want you to write them down, and I would love you to share them with me. And I want you to book them in. If you can, buy the ticket now. If you can, make that commitment with your friends, and let's get it in the diary, because you need those moments to stop. Because life is meant for living. It is not meant to keep going and hustling. I hope you enjoyed this episode today. I've really enjoyed talking about it. It's something that I'm so grateful to have learned more about. I have a trip to Disney with the children that I have booked a couple of weeks ago, which I'm so excited about. We're going to tell them on Christmas Day. They're going to go absolutely mental. And I've got my girls' trip in September. So there's my 3. I've got to think of one. Oh, my one more will be my solo day. I'm going to have a think about that. I want it to be a really intentional day for me. I want it to be planned, because I know what I'm like. Last minute, I'll probably freak out and say to a friend, do you want to come with me? So I really need to think about this one, but I will share this one with you once I've thought about it. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I will speak to you next week. Bye.